حنلعب أغنيتين اليوم لبليتس the Ambassador. واحدة اسمها Dying to Live and the other one is Breathe. Hopefully we'll play that after his interview. Dying to Live, great track. حتسمعوا الpassion. You're gonna understand what kind of artist he is from this track. Shout out to you, Blitz, man. Check it out. Dying to Live. Ladies and gentlemen, this is of course my pleasure to say that Blitz the Ambassador is with us on the line. هيكون معانا. He's gonna be with us especially after commercials. This is of course Dying to Live. Blitz the Ambassador. Authenticity, passionate, real. Just a great human being all the way from Ghana, Africa, the original of the world. And salute to him. Akid, we're listening to Dying to Live. Hit me up with your questions, ladies and gentlemen, at Mix FM Radio. This is Big Huss. And tweet the one and only Blitz the Ambassador. He's going to be with us in a very short while. Enjoy that track. Blitz, I'm honored, my brother.
ليش هيب هوب مع حسان.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we all been waiting for today and tonight, of course, Blitz the Ambassador. Blitz the Ambassador, you know, we're going to talk to him. Blitz the Ambassador, of course, is from Ghana via America, African, African soul, an authentic soul. That's what I love about him for me personally. And, definitely going to be playing this because that is, a great instrumental from his great album. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to say, but this is history again. Blitz the Ambassador is with us on the line. حاتكلم أكيد باللغة الإنجليزية وإن شاء الله أحاول أترجم. We're gonna say Assalamu alaikum and peace, Mr. Blitz.
Salam, my brother.
Man,
good to be live in Saudi Arabia, my friend.
You are live on Saudi's first FM hip hop radio show. I want to begin by, what does that mean to you that Saudi have an FM radio show that does not play the corny hip hop? You know, I play the true essence, and I talk about this culture. What does that mean to you as Blitz?
Well, man, it means a lot. It means a lot because I come from, a fan of the radio when I could turn on the radio in Ghana and hear Mobb Deep, hear Pac, hear Biggie, hear Rakim. These were artists that I'm here because of those artists, because I was exposed so early to those artists.
Right.
So yeah, man, it means a lot that somebody is still willing to make that choice, man, and to in a way educate people about the essence of the craft, because it makes it possible for us to continue this culture.
Wow, salute to you. Can't begin better than that. You have actually a great journey. And of course, first of all, I want to say salute to, your home country, Ghana. And for me, I believe Africa is the origin of the world. So salute to that. My question is, how has your music changed throughout your career? I mean, your journey. Because, you were there, then moved to the States and, you toured all the world. So how has your music changed through all that?
Well, it's very interesting. The music that I've made as a fan of the culture growing up has really not changed. What has changed in my journey is just being more confident in myself to be able to bring forth a part of the culture that most people don't know about, which is its connection to the continent of Africa. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, in terms of my sound and stuff, I mean, that's always been inside of me, and that's always been something I've done. But what I've gained from traveling the world, that is, going from Ghana to New York, and then, to now I'm in Paris talking to you. I just landed a few hours ago from Casablanca. What has changed is that I'm getting to meet firsthand fans of the culture, and they're encouraging me to continue on, and to continue to push the story that is seldom told.
Wow. Actually, anybody with a brain would tell you to continue, sir. Blitz the Ambassador, what are you ambassador of?
Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, when I started, I was just Blitz. That's what I called myself. And, as time went on, I found out that, a lot of times, wherever I was the one who was asked questions whether it was about hip-hop, people just not understanding what the culture meant. And, you know, again, if you listen to only commercial hip-hop, then you are left with only maybe 3 or 4 subject matters, you know, that hip-hop, you know, real hip-hop, in my opinion, encompasses a lot more than that, you know?
Right.
So I'm not saying that is not a part of hip-hop, but I'm saying that hip-hop is much larger. So what ends up happening is that, you know, just the culture ends up being shrunk down to these few topics. And so wherever I find myself, people ask me, you know, and I find myself defending the culture a lot. And not only that, you know, a lot of people have misunderstandings about Africa. So I'm always getting asked these questions, and I'm always the guy who has to put people right about some of the facts, you know, some of the few facts that I know. So at the end of the day, I just found myself constantly building bridges between people who did not understand the culture that I was in, whether it was being African, whether it was being hip-hop, whatever it was. I found myself having to build these bridges, hence the word ambassador.
And sir, you're definitely doing a great job. I mean, salute to, I've interviewed Neka. I know she's your homegirl, you know, and, of course, as well, Kanan. And the great thing is that somehow all of you have something in common, but each one is doing something, you know, in their own, state. For you personally, where is the state of hip hop now?
You know, hip hop is in the state of looking for something new to champion. You know, I think that has constantly been the state of hip hop, even though people would, you know, look at it only from a negative lens or a negative perspective.
Yes.
I feel like hip hop has always been looking for something new to jump on. Hence, you know, we've gone through all types of eras. We've been through the eras of the, you know, black and righteous. We've been through the eras of the gangster. We've been through the era of the bohemians. We've been through so many eras of this culture, and because the culture naturally is a curious culture. You know what I mean? So where it is now, I think it is where it has always been, which is back to its curiosity, looking for something new, and that's where myself and my peers, like you mentioned, Kanan and Neka, Baloji, Sarkodie, Manifest, Mansa, so many artists out there are here to give the art another shot in the arm, you know, something else to be curious about. And I think that is what has always kept this art form afloat, is the curiosity. And so people who don't know much about Africa, who don't know much about how hip-hop interacts with Africa, are becoming curious. Hence, all of us doing pretty well in our respective genres.
Blitz, you know, Dear Africa is a great track of yours. I listen to that track maybe daily. You say, and one of the lines in that track, you know, you always say, I mean, people usually, they always link Africa to being poor, and Africa, you know, it's always something like that. And you said that, you actually discussed that. I know that Africa is a beautiful country, and Africa is the richest continent in the world. It is the richest continent. Although, sadly, the corporations and the whole business of it. I mean, other than that, these are social issues that you talk about. What are the other social issues and messages, you know, in your music in terms of that, you know, when it comes to this?
Well, you know, I mean, naturally, being from Africa, I'm just naturally drawn to that conversation because, you know, that's who I am. But also, I also have really felt that there have been very few Africans speaking on Africa's behalf. And if you turn on the TV and you hear any conversations happening about any conflict, about any technological advances, anything that's happening in Africa, 9 times out of 10, it will be a non-African on television speaking for Africans. If you watch any documentaries, it's the same. You know, and so at the end of the day, you find yourself in a position where it's almost not even a choice, having to almost be that mouthpiece and be that person who gets into the conversation and say, wait a second, here's an African voice, you know, who can speak from the perspective of an African and can give facts and give some logic and shed some light on whatever the conversation is.
Blitz,
and so, I naturally have found myself in playing that role. I don't think I'm the only one, and I don't think it's only also because I'm a musician. I feel like anybody with any kind of conviction about what you said, which is Africa's riches, Africa's potential, all that stuff, knows why Africa is in the position that's in. Yeah. So it's semi-frustrating to be caught in that conversation all the time. But the reality is that a lot of people would rather see it in the opposite because it makes it easier for them to exploit the continent. So for me, I mean, that's one great thing. But of course, I also recognize that people all over the world are going through the same kind of misrepresentation where people don't, you know, I mean, it's going on in the United States right now. I'm sure it's going on in Saudi Arabia. I'm sure it's going on in every corner of the globe where people without a voice are being spoken for. Yes. And hence, an agenda is being drawn for them, which is not their agenda. And I believe strongly that that's the power of hip-hop. And that's what attracted me to hip-hop when I first heard Chuck D and KRS and all these guys, because they have found something that we all had been looking for, which was a means of communicating to the world, saying, yo, listen, we're not invisible, yo. We're here, we can speak for ourselves, and we can articulate our problems, and we can articulate our successes. So give us the mic, you know what I mean?
Man, I swear to God. I swear. You know, I used to respect you, let's say 100%. Now it's like 200%. Mr. Blitz.
Oh, bro, thank you.
Seriously, I mean, you're dropping some jewels on us tonight. A couple more questions. You know, whoever sees any video for you, and I'm sure you get asked this a lot, your passion, sir, on the stage, like live performance, how important is live performance for you? Because you give it 110%. You're out there with the band, with the group, and your passion, like, even if somebody doesn't understand English or doesn't understand, of course, you know, the language you're rapping at, it just, you know, gets attracted to the passion. So salute to that.
Thank you, man. I really found out that, you know, just a few days ago when we were in Morocco. Because, I mean, that's a place where, you know, there was a huge language barrier. Not only don't I speak any French, I don't speak any Arabic either. Yeah. So I was really caught with nothing but just, you know, more or less a visual, you know, of what I do, and gratefully that people really enjoyed it, and I was really blessed to have one of the best moments of my life on stage. Really, just you know, communing with the people, you know what I mean, and them, in spite of not understanding most of what I was saying, and some of them, all of what I was saying, they were very connected to the energy we were putting out. Wow. But to answer your question, as far as how important a live show is for me. I mean, a live show for me, honestly, is the only true advertising tool I have for who I am and what I represent. Because at the end of the day, I know that nothing else is in my hands. When it comes to radio play, it's not in my hands. When it comes to being on MTV or whatever the big TV stations are, it's not in my hands. Right. Somebody's always going to decide, okay, do we play Blitz and how long do we play Blitz for? The only time it's in my hand to first-hand impress anybody who is either a skeptic, doubter, or has no idea who I am is on stage. So that's my only one place. And I take this from James Brown. James Brown said that, for him, a live show is the only way that he truly can connect with people. Right. And I believe that to be fact. I believe that, you know, when you do it on stage, you know, anybody who's a non-believer will believe there. Right. And if you're not a performer, it's also going to shine through, because on stage, there are no cuts, there are no edits, there are no teleprompters, there's nothing. It's just you, your bars, your band, and the stage. And you know what I mean? And the crowd. Yeah. So a live show for me, man, I put so much work and emphasis on trying to be a better artist, trying to be a better performer. And when I tell you I spend hours and hours watching the best that ever did it, from James Brown to Fela to Michael Jackson to, down to Jay-Z. You know what I mean? Wow. I spent time watching everybody's show, hours of footage, because to me, they found a way to communicate that I have to eventually. And I'm working at it. I'm getting better at every show that we play. Yes. But at the end of the day, I have to be an expert at that, because that's all I have.
Inshallah, and God's will. My last question would be, of course, you were talking about, you know, live and stage, and of course here in Saudi Arabia, sadly, there are no venues for the hip hop artists to perform, and hopefully, inshallah, and hopefully right now, since we have officially connected, hopefully we can work out some kind of workshop where you guys can come here, like you, maybe Neka, and maybe Kanan, to give workshops in hip hop. Now the question is, these guys, what kind of advice would you give them? Because like I said, they only have YouTube, and I know YouTube is a big weapon right now, and the internet is a huge weapon. What kind of advice, because we have a lot of people listening right now from hip hop heads inside Arabia to the one and only Blitz. So what do you tell them, Blitz?
Man, I tell them hip hop is all about making something out of nothing. The word of hip hop venues when the culture begun. The venues were people's bedrooms, people's living rooms, public parks, whatever it took, people created. So let's not forget that that's where the culture begins. I mean, today, yes, when you turn on the television and you see the big bling and you see the big stages and you see all of that, you think that you forget what truly is the essence of the culture. The essence is really about two turntables, a b-boy, a DJ, a graph artist, people doing it, sharing it, no matter the circumstances. I mean, we used to do this in Ghana with no electricity sometimes,
Wow.
Whatever it took. If you want somebody will beatbox or somebody will drum with their hands so their hand hurts, whatever it takes, people participated in the culture.
Man.
So at the end of the day, my only true advice is, man, connect to the true essence of the culture. Connect to what really the basis of it is. And then whatever happens on top of that is extra. But if you cannot enjoy it when you have nothing, when you have no venues in your country, if you cannot create out of nothing, then you don't deserve hip hop, in my opinion. Wow. You know what I mean? So continue to expand, continue to spread, and it'll be a true honor for us to come to a place like Saudi Arabia, and tell our story firsthand, and say, listen, man, this is how we came up.
Right.
I used to. We didn't have instrumentals. We didn't have access to instrumentals. So if you had a cassette tape, a double cassette deck, you play that tape and you press dub until you could get last 5 seconds of the instrumental.
Wow.
And you did it until you had a 3-minute instrumental off of press and play and record on 2 decks. You know what I mean? This is what you call DIY. This is what you call doing it yourself.
Man,
because at the end of the day, who was going to bring us instrumentals? Nobody. But because of that, I'm here in Paris getting ready to rock a major show in the next few days.
Man, that's amazing. That's really amazing.
So that's my advice is, man, try to make something out of nothing, because out of nothing comes everything.
Nice. Of course, you have a lot of fans right now. Jawahir, all the way from Abu Dhabi, UAE, she's saying, Mr. Blitz, I have mad respect for you. Very eloquent, educated, and just plain smart, real artist. So Jawahir, thank you very much, of course, and a lot of more tweets.
Thank you, man.
Blitz, I think, I already took much of your time, but it seems like I don't want to end this interview. I want to just keep you on the air.
It's all good, brother. Listen, I'm here. I just got to Paris. You tell me when you got to go, and I'm good.
Seriously, Blitz, I mean, we have, in the whole Arab world, we have a great hip hop movement. The thing is, it's like you said, hip hop is the voice of the voiceless, and this is where hip hop comes in. And if you see, for example, the uprisings that happen in Tunisia, Egypt, and Syria, hip hop is, considered there. My question would be, have you ever collaborated, or would you collaborate with an Arab hip hop artist?
Man, I'll do that in a heartbeat.
Wow.
And the reason for me is that, again, coming from a place like Ghana where language, was such a barrier for a lot of people even getting into the culture, I feel like hip hop has evolved on a level where we can finally start to understand one another's culture. I mean, first of all, let's take it back. Hip hop is all about sampling culture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you think about, people taking records, I doubt that as we speak today, there's any form of music that hasn't made its way into hip hop. If you dig deep into what people sample, they've sampled Arab records, they've sampled African records, they've sampled South Indian records, they've sampled East Asian records, they've sampled Latin records, they've sampled all types of records.
Right.
But what they haven't got a sample of is linguistics, the language. The sound is great, but I mean, there's so much poetry and there's so much style and so much flair if you took the time to pay attention to Arab hip-hop, take the time to pay attention to Ghanaian hip-hop, because everybody has a different way of putting it. And honestly, I'll tell you, I don't understand half of what's said, you know, in a lot of these records, but when you know it when somebody's spitting the truth, and you know it when somebody is a seasoned lyricist, no matter what language they're speaking.
Nice.
So for me, my commitment, and if you notice, I mean, even on Native Son, I had a song, Wahala, where I had almost 4 languages on it, you know?
Yes.
Because for me, again, it's about giving people that opportunity, giving people, you know, that space, you know what I mean, to air it out, and for us to start getting comfortable speaking hip-hop, even if we don't speak French, Latin, whatever the languages that are being spoken. But let's commune on hip-hop.
Man, salute to your soul, Blitz. Blitz, my final question would be, if you have a mic right now, and this mic, I know you're very powerful on that mic, and that mic, all Ghana is listening to you. All of it. What would you say? And you can speak in your own language if you want. Just, you know, just speak your heart out. You know, 20, 30 seconds or whatever you want to say. This is Blitz. Go ahead.
First I would say that nobody is gonna fix us. We're gonna fix us. This is the only message that I really have for myself, for the youth, for the old, for everybody who's back home in the country that I'm from. You know, we have a song that we sing, Yenara Assassini, which means, you know, Yenara Assassini means this is our land. Mm-hmm. Nobody else's. You know what I mean? And it's our anthem. It's our national anthem. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's our land. And at the end of the day, you know, yes, people can help and people will help, but Africa's problems and Africa's solutions lie in Africans, not in anybody else. Nobody else will ever understand our nuance. Nobody will ever understand, you know, what our issues are. We're the only ones who know it and we get it. So it's us. It's about us uniting and recognizing that Ghana is but a small piece of land. Africa and the diaspora and the world is so much greater. There's so much more to connect to bring it back to solving our problems. And that's what I'm proud to say that artists like myself, and the list goes on, are picking so much around the world. Mm-hmm. And in time, we're going to return. And some of us have already started making that migration. You know, back home, we used to call it the brain drain. Now we're calling it the brain gain. Wow. Because a lot of us are returning home with so much that we've learned globally, not just from America, not just from Europe, but from Latin America, from Asia, from the Arab world. And it's our time to return home and start to see how all this can connect in solving our issues and building our society.
Beautiful. Blitz, the ambassador, ladies and gentlemen. This is history, man. Thank you very much for your time. If you can just introduce the track, we'll be playing a great track now, one of my favorite of all time, Breathe. You know, if you just can introduce it. And Blitz, it's an honor, sir. Thank you very much. Have a rock show in Paris. And now, since we connected, hopefully, inshallah, we'll bring you down to Saudi Arabia, sir.
Yes, sir. It's an honor. And thank you very much for having me. It's a true honor. This joint, Breathe, was the first single from Stereotype, which to me, it was the album that got this whole ball rolling. So it's a true honor. Breathe, featuring my man, my brother, Rob Morat. Thank you very much for having me. Big highs, big pleasure.
Blitz, I'll talk to you off the air. Blitz, the ambassador, ladies and gentlemen. Salute and one love to Blitz. You're authentic, my man. Thank you very much.
Peace. Thank you.
Okay, listen to that track, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be back. Yallah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Haas. أنا هقول لكم good night and salute a great interview with Blitz, the ambassador. This is the song Breathe. Enjoy it. One love. I'll see you next week. Blitz, the ambassador, ladies and gentlemen. All the way, one love, hip hop, and put your peace signs up. Good night.
So what's a classic album as cool as I ever been.